¿Cómo se va? Hello friends, my name is Joy. I'm the owner of Sub Rosa Tea, and in today's video I'm going to tell you all about our new tea collection. We have called it Springtime in Paris. Hello to everyone, how are you? If there's no red live above my head, that simply means you're watching it on the replay. Feel free to use the hashtag replay and shop as you normally would. Everything I'm going to be talking about today is available on our website at subrosatea.com and also on our mobile shopping app. Let me put that in the queue right now. You can go to your favorite app store, search for Sub Rosa Tea, which is 3 words with 2 spaces in the middle. It's really easy to download it. It's an app, which is kind of fun. It's free to download, and you can shop by watching videos like this, or shop as you normally would and watch previous videos. Hello to everyone. Lots of people watching on the app. That's right, Springtime in Paris. So friends, let me tell you this, that 2 weeks ago we introduced a collection that we called Spring into Easter. Definitely a very popular collection. That collection features the Dew mug. I will tell you about this in just a few minutes. This is the Dew mug that is featured in the Spring into Easter collection. In this collection, we are featuring the Dew teapot. So the colors do match exactly if you buy both. If you would prefer to mix and match, definitely buy different colors because they are the same palette. This is the Dew teapot, and it is featured in our Springtime in Paris collection. It's 14 ounces, it's ceramic, it'll keep your tea nice and hot. I know all of you are going to be totally inspired to have your own French themed tea party in the future. So keep in mind, at the end of the video, I am doing something that I'm calling Tea Time, where I will talk to you a little bit more about the French culture, the French people. I've been there 5 times. I've been to Paris 5 times. So I'm going to tell you all about that at the end of the video. I want to tell you about the teas first, though, so you're all welcome to join me at the end. If you're watching it on the replay, you can even fast forward if you already shopped. Thank you to everyone for coming. Merci beaucoup. Okay, parlez-vous français? Anyone at all? Anyone remember some French from maybe the middle school or the high school? Where I went to school, we had a semester of French and Spanish in either 7th or 8th grade, and then you could move on. I took 5 years of French. That is an awful lot. Yes, it is. Anyone else? Parlez-vous français? Oh, bonsoir, Miss Melissa. Or is it Madame? Madame or Mademoiselle? Thank you for watching. Merci beaucoup, everyone. How are we today? Sharon says we. I know she spelled it wrong, but that made me laugh, so thank you for that. Oh, good. I see lots of people watching on Facebook today, too. Sharon's been to Paris 3 times. Oh, that is fabulous. I know. After my 5th trip, I felt like it was my second home. Like I really knew my way around the city. It's just so easy to get around. Those of you who are watching here, I think I told everyone that I would be live on the app, Facebook, and TikTok, and I'm not live on TikTok. Just technical troubles. So I think I'm going to go live on TikTok after this, but I am going to be talking about the same tea, but we have a totally different audience over there. And of course, we're trying to get everyone to join our community. So afterwards on that one, Melissa says, "Un peu." Yes, that's definitely something that my husband says. He doesn't speak any French, but he has learned to say un peu. Yes, a little bit. Sharon says spell check was stupid. Spell check has to be, right? On an app like this, I can't imagine that they're going to let you type in French. I think that's hysterical. Another wonderful setup. Merci beaucoup, Miss Kayla. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. If you've been around for a while, you know I happen to love to cook. I do love to bake. These are all inspired by fabulous things that I've actually made myself and I've absolutely eaten in Paris. Just to be clear, a Paris experience, in my opinion, is very, very different than traveling throughout France. So I am really focused right now on the city of Paris. When you're walking around Paris, you have a lot of culinary delights coming at you all of the time. But what's the easiest to pick up are window cafes or someplace that you can just breeze in, get a snack, a handheld snack, and move on. So even though some of these I've created in my own life, in my own kitchen for myself, they were definitely not the small version. But let me tell you, friends, all of the teas, they are based on fabulous things that I've personally eaten in Paris, but none of these teas have no sugar. There's no sugar, no carbs, and no calories. So we're going to save your waistline and your pocketbook. You're not going to have to actually fly to Paris. No trip to Paris in order to enjoy these fabulous sweet treats that we have for you. So let's say we dive in. Let's see. Thank you, friends. Oh, let me move the cue one more time. Back to the combo pack. Friends, if you are brand new here, I want to say welcome. Welcome to everyone. I'm not always dressed like this, but honestly, let's be real. Yes, I am. I'm always dressed in some sort of themed costume, right? Most of my videos are based on the theme that we are talking about right now. I have done other videos where I talk about just about the black teas that we sell. I've done in-depth dives on certain products that we sell, like hibiscus and dandelion. You can find those videos on our YouTube channel, or of course also on our website. In today's video, though, I am going to talk about specifically a combo pack, a bundle, and some tea. The tea are all available individually. The bundle is where you're going to buy all of the tea that we sell together. You get to save money. And the combo pack is where we're selling all of the tea in this theme together, in addition to a tea accessory. So we do have this tea accessory on our website all year right now, but it's at a discount when you buy it during the future themed teas. I wouldn't say it's the future month, springtime in Paris, but like I said in the beginning of the video, this is a complement to the mug. So this is our Dew teapot. Again, friends, this is 14 ounces. It is ceramic. The lid is removable, and it does have a clear silicone, almost like a suction cup, so the lid isn't going to just jump off the teapot while you're carrying your tea tray to your table. So it is removable. There is a fine mesh stainless steel infuser inside. It does have a plastic handle, which is nice because your tea will be nice and hot. So will the basket. So the plastic handle is nice. Fine mesh infuser. You're going to see in this collection, we do have black teas, green teas, and caffeine free. Those rooibos tea leaves are very, very small, and you would need a very, very small infuser, fine mesh infuser. But of course, a basket that's a great size. So this is ceramic. This ceramic teapot can be microwaved. It can go in the dishwasher. You wouldn't put metal in a microwave. I think everyone knows that. The infuser goes in, and again, friends, this is a 14 ounce, so you put probably 2 servings of tea. Here at Sub Rosa Tea, on the packages, I have listed the name, all of the ingredients, and our brewing instructions. You don't have to follow them, but if you're brand new to loose leaf tea, or of course you're giving it as a gift, the recipient will know at least a guide on where to start. Hello, Miss Whitney, ça va? Bonjour, mademoiselle. This one in particular, friends, is a black tea. So we even have how much caffeine is right on the package, so you can decide what time of day to consume the tea. So as you can see here in front of me, I have a cute little Easter basket with Easter grass. We have our Spring into Easter collection in the front, and this Easter basket just got stuffed with all of our Springtime in Paris teas as well. Spring into Easter has 6, Springtime into Paris has 6 as well. So you're the person that you might give this fabulous basket to, if you bought both of the combo packs, would receive 12 flavors of tea. We have them in multiple sizes. The combo pack is available in the Try Me size. The Try Me size makes 5 to 6 servings. That's what's going to come automatically, and you do get to pick your color of teapot. Of course, like I said, this mug comes with the Spring into Easter combo pack. This makes 18 ounces, so it's actually bigger than the teapot, and this is the one with that one there. Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, how interesting. Oh, thank you, friends, thank you. Give me just a second, make sure everything is all, okay, I think we're all linked up. That's fabulous, great. Okay, Springtime in Paris, we do have the bundle available as well. The bundle is going to be all 6 of the theme teas in this particular collection. I do want to bring out that Creme Brulee has been in our inventory for well over a year. I'd say almost maybe 2 years possibly. It is a green tea. It is being featured in this collection because it's Paris, of course. Springtime in Paris, Creme Brulee is actually the very most common or favorite culinary treat that people think of when they think of as French desserts. So the creme brulee is a tea that we have had for a while. The recipe did not change. It is the one that everyone loves, but it is joining this particular collection and it is featured at this time. But it is not limited edition, but the other 5 are. So if you are interested in these teas, do make sure you grab them as soon as possible. Please note, those of you who are watching on the app, you can hit the Shop All button and you can see that we do have both this teapot and the mug available individually. Those of you who like to shop on the website, you can find things both on our limited edition tab, the web page, and also the tea accessories page. That's where you'll find the teapot and the mug that I just featured. Okay, it looks like we're going to go alphabetical. I never know. What should I do? Should I do alphabetical or by caffeine? Let's talk about the cherry clafouti first. For those of you that don't know, clafouti is very often a dessert that is made with almonds. You can absolutely do it with other fruits, but cherry is the only way I think I've ever made it myself. It is a fabulous and smooth. Cherry clafouti is a sweeter dessert. It does have like a custard base that gets baked. It has a very, very fine crust. This particular tea, though, absolutely no sugar, no carbs, no calories, and it's completely caffeine free. So cherry clafouti, again, friends, this does have real pieces of almonds in it. We are an all-natural tea company, so everything's all natural. You're going to see nice cherries and almonds in that one. It is a rooibos base. If you didn't know, rooibos is the name of the tea, and it's known to be good for headaches, inflammation, and insomnia. Melissa just said that the creme brulee tea is delicious. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It is definitely a fan favorite. We've had weeks where the creme brulee is the tea that we sell the most wholesale to our retail customers. The people have shops and bakeries, so it seems like everyone does. Sharon says that she loves our cherry teas, and I bet this is delicious. It is. It is just very different than a all fruit tea. We have other teas that are very fruity, that are cherry based. This one is definitely nice and smooth, but both cherry and almond. Almond is something I crave an awful lot. I have to admit that. I love the taste. Next up, cinnamon coffee cake. Cinnamon coffee cake. As you can imagine, friends, cinnamon is another one that I crave a lot. It works fabulously in tea. Nice and sweet, of course, but this one is true coffee cake. It has that mouthfeel of the dense coffee cake. It does almost have the taste of coffee in the background with a little bit of chicory in it. It is a black tea, so it does have caffeine. It's got a great depth of flavor, and it is definitely a little bit sweet. So spicy and sweet on the cinnamon coffee cake. I cannot not talk about creme brulee now that I've brought it up, right? Creme brulee here. This is a green tea. Like I said, friends, this is being featured now in the Springtime in Paris collection, but it is the same exact recipe that we've had for quite some time. It is not limited edition, but we are featuring it in this collection specifically because creme brulee is the most common French dessert. A green tea. It is low in caffeine, high in antioxidants. Next up is Eclair. We are bouncing back to the black teas here. Eclair. Does everyone know what an eclair is? I tried, honestly, to pick desserts that I was as confident as I could be that other people, that Americans would know what they are and would know how to spell them. Some are pretty fancy, I have to say. I was just talking about my husband with them, all the fancy, funny things that I've made in my life. I'm hoping everyone knows what an eclair is. An eclair is almost always, but it certainly doesn't have to be, but it's almost always cream filled with chocolate on top. So that is definitely what this is. This is definitely vanilla cream chocolate. It is a black tea. It does have caffeine. Again, friends, this particular collection, the teas are awfully sweet. Not all of the teas that I create are sugar-based or sweet treat-based, but it's this collection was inspired by strolling down the Paris streets, and what are you going to most likely to see? You are going to see bakeries that have something like this, which is an eclair. Next up, friends, is honey pear galette. Honey pear galette. A galette is, let's say you were going to make like an apple pie, and you had your bottom crust. And instead of filling it high, like when you make apple pie typically, this is more like a flat layer of fruit, and that's why pears are used so often in a galette, because they're thin sliced and then layered. And so every layer, you are layering your thin slices of pear and then brushing it with honey, and then possibly another layer of pear. Definitely some spices here. And instead, when we make an apple pie, I have to say we probably do it all different, right? But typically when I make an apple pie, I have a bottom crust, and then I fill my pie pan with lots and lots and lots of apples, and then I'll do a top crust. But with a galette, you almost just take the crust and just make a really pretty outer ring, so you can see the pear, and of course more honey glaze. So again, this lent itself really well to tea, as you can imagine. It has just a little bit of cinnamon and vanilla in the background, but this tea has bee pollen. So not only honey, but bee pollen as well. If you didn't know, friends, bee pollen is a biofuel, which is fabulous for you, but it's also great for this time of year because so many of us are suffering from seasonal allergies. So that bee pollen really can help your immune system. And you know, I had to add that to the tea. Next up here, friends, we have our Parisian chai. Parisian chai. So this specifically is the one tea that I'd have to say isn't necessarily sweet. It's a chai, so it's a spice blend. But if you're not familiar with chai, or let's say you've had a few chais, especially in my company here, all chais are different. All of them. All chais are different. But this one in particular is heavier on the vanilla, and these big green pods are cardamom. So sometimes here at Sub Rosa Tea, I'll use cinnamon sticks or ground cinnamon. We'll use a whole cardamom pod or ground cardamom. We'll use big pieces of ginger root or ground ginger. So if you've baked or spent any time in the kitchen, you know that these things taste very similar, but they really do act differently. And there is a reason why we would use different ones at different times. This chai is very different than the other chais that we sell. This is a black tea. Parisian chai is specifically designed for a tea latte. So yes, you can have it hot, you can have it cold. It's fabulous. But really, really strong chai tea is great as a latte, and that is what is typically served in Paris, that you would most often be served a latte, really anywhere in Europe. That's typically how you're going to get your chai. So do give it a try. Like I said, it's very different than the other chais that we sell. In the queue, for those of you watching on the mobile shopping app, I put Cafe au Lait only because it literally just came up. I was having a really good time just enjoying what I could find out there. I have been listening to French music on Spotify and Amazon Music. I have been watching some movies that I hadn't seen before, documentaries and cooking programs. I've just been all French for 2 weeks here. So one in particular, the Cafe au Lait, it just came up in one of the programs I was watching. Cafe au Lait is technically a term that you would use with your mom. if you were at your mom's house, you would say you want a cafe au lait, or she would ask you that question. It means coffee with milk, tea with milk. But when you're out in a restaurant setting and you want to order a coffee with cream, you would say cafe cream. That's just the way it is. So they have a way of talking about one exact thing and using two different words for it, two different terms, two different phrases. And the American asked the French person, well, why in the world do they have two different terms for the exact same thing? And he said, oh, the French, we don't like anything simple. And I think that really sums it up. So our cafe au lait tea specifically came out during our Mardi Gras collection this year. But let me tell you, we have cafe au lait all year. It is completely caffeine free. It tastes much more like coffee than it does tea, but it's caffeine free. So it does have dandelion and chicory and cinnamon. It again is just fabulous. It's nice and smooth. It's perfect for the evening. I know I called it cafe au lait. It doesn't actually have any milk. Au lait means milk, but it doesn't have any milk. But it's good with milk. It's the perfect, it's so perfect for that bedtime latte. So if you didn't get any in the Mardi Gras, I wanted to make sure I said it. Mardi Gras had a lot of overlap with French themes because New Orleans is very specifically founded by the French. A lot of influence and culture there, which is a whole nother video, but that's why Mardi Gras has some other fun things like beignet. Beignet is definitely a French word, it's a French term, it's a French dessert, and the eclair made it into this one, and the beignet into the Mardi Gras collection. I am going to scroll up really fast to see if anyone has any questions. Again, if you missed it in the beginning, friends, you are all welcome to hang out just a little bit longer for tea time. We can talk more about French and French inspired and France and Paris and things. It looks like some of you have been there or you've taken French a little bit, so this might interest you. Sharon says I'm nailing it. Thank you, sweet lady. Merci beaucoup. Merci. Oh, Pam says looking forward to trying all these new teas. Merci. I appreciate that. Andrea says give it a try. I'm going to have to use that, Andrea. Yes, I'm definitely going to have to use that in a post. I think so, most definitely. Thank you, hon. Okay, I do not see any questions, and I appreciate that. I want to say thank you once again to all of you who have come for the introduction video. I know it's hard to watch live sometimes, but I really do appreciate your time. Thank you for your support. It's always nice to have a little audience. I kind of build myself up sometimes for these live videos, so thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about tea time. Anybody have any questions? I did want to give you a couple ideas that if you want to buy this particular set and have a French themed party of your own, whether it be just your family or some friends or some ladies over, I wanted to make sure that you knew that you can get inspiration as well. There is a show that was very specifically on Netflix called Emily in Paris. But I will tell you, I think they're in the 3rd or 4th season now. So those of you who do not have Netflix, if you do have access to Amazon Prime, which I seem to think that that's a little more common than Netflix, Amazon Prime will sell you the first season of Emily in Paris. I think it's like $13 or $14. I think it's like 13 or 14 episodes. They're only a half an hour long, but let me tell you, Emily is in Paris. So she does get to see an awful lot of the city and the town, and the girl likes to eat. I do not know how she traipses around Paris in those high heels, but Emily in Paris was definitely a really cute show, especially if you are younger or you would like to see a younger girl, someone 20, wearing heels in Paris. I am not at that phase right now. I am a crazy American who would probably live in sneakers if I had to go. But I will tell you this, if you are a little bit older, if Emily in Paris isn't for you, I found another movie that was for free, very sweet, again on Amazon Prime. I believe it was free. I don't think I paid anything for it. It's called Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Specifically, this movie was not filmed back then, but it was set in the 1950s, and this had more to do with fashion. So if you enjoyed a movie like Devil Wears Prada, where the majority of the scenes are not only in Paris, but fashion related, I have to tell you, this was a really sweet movie about an older lady just with a lot of gusto and a lot of ambition, and she really enjoyed touring Paris. And was just a really fun, sweet story. So Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Definitely recommend that. For those of you that might be thinking that you want to do a tea time with some food or pastries, let me give you a little hint on where you want to start. I have been interested in French cooking and French baking my entire life. I was in my very young 20s when I stumbled upon a very large, I should have brought it for the video, I'm so sorry. It's quite large, lots of photos. It's in French. It's a cookbook that I very diligently translated. I have made almost every single one of the recipes in this particular cookbook. And I want to say 25, 30 years ago, when I started this journey, it was much harder to get some of these ingredients. At least nowadays, you can get some of these items now. Everything has changed in my lifetime. It's amazing. But my point is, you might not want to start with French cooking. Definitely start with the baking. It's easy. It's easier, let's say. When you are in France or Paris, you're going to find both a patisserie and a boulangerie. So a patisserie is more what I focused on, which has more to do with pastries, French pastries. So if you find a cookbook or a website or a blog or someone that you like to follow that has patisserie inspired desserts, I think that those would be definitely beginner to medium level cooking and baking, probably with items you already have. You might need to buy like maybe a Madeleine pan or something like that, like a silicone tray. Again, things are so easy now. We have silicone molds of Madeleines now. I used to, it was so much more difficult when I started this journey. But anyway, also restaurants though, you're going to find at least two different types of restaurants, specifically in Paris. There's the bistro and the more typical restaurant. A bistro typically serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or lunch and dinner. Something that has to do with the menu is different. When you are in Paris, everyone eats at noon, and it takes about 2 hours. Let me tell you, your reservation's either at noon or 12:30, and you're going to be there quite some time, at least an hour and a half. So for those of you that are planning to be a tourist, you might get some really good food at a place like a bistro if you join at 2 o'clock. Or you might get really awful service because they know that you're an American because you weren't here right at noon. But it's definitely a very leisurely process. But a bistro has more casual atmosphere. The tables are closer to one another. You would talk. You might definitely be in conversation with the person sitting right at the next table. More like eating with family, more casual. Restaurants in Paris are more like what you see in the fancy movies, where the actors and actresses are all dressed up and it's very proper and it's romantic lighting and candles on the table and the tables are further apart and you're going to get multi-courses. Everyone in Paris eats 3 courses. It's just unacceptable not to have 3 courses. But in general, the courses are very, very small, not really what we think of here in America. They're quite small, and at the end, they might literally just eat a few slices of apple with 2 or 3 nibbles of cheese. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate. In general, the French people don't even eat dessert. These desserts that I'm talking about at the patisserie are very special, or a special occasion, or a quick treat for those of us who are passing and on the go. I think some Americans, we have a hard time even getting our 10,000 steps in a day, but a person who lives in Paris easily gets 30,000 a day. It's walking, it's stairs and stairs. There's no elevators. It's really incredible how different their life is. How different really any life is in a big city compared to how I live in a tiny, tiny town attached to my car, right? I almost don't go anywhere without my car. But those things might be things that you'll want to think about or research, even if you're not traveling, but if you're just having a little tea party. Where to get started? What type of food would you like to serve with the teas if you decided to do that? A tea salon, though, is very common in Paris, specifically. Not always in the suburbs, but Paris is known for its tea salon. A tea salon is normally very, very, very large, in which you would get proper tea service, but you could also get desserts to go, but it has many more bread products that are bread based. And what I mean by that is like a brioche, a croissant, a pain au chocolat, that those things are more common at a tea salon. So I didn't want to focus on starchy carbs that didn't really make any sense in translation to tea flavors, but you could also research a tea salon and special little fruity treats that you could serve next to a tea like this if that interests you. So tea salon, and so I would say a patisserie is a little bit more like a pastry shop here in the United States versus I would say bakeries are more bread-based, and of course coffee shops might have rich desserts that you're not always going to see in Paris. But those are my tips and guides. Like I said, I've been there 5 times, so lots of good stuff there, lots of good stuff. We do hope that you will try the tea and try to create some sort of French bistro in your own neck of the woods. Once again, friends, I don't see any questions on my side. I want to say merci beaucoup to everyone for watching. I am going to sign off and say au revoir. And say, friends, no matter what you do with the rest of your day, I hope you have yourself a cup of tea and take care of you. Bye-bye, friends.